and welcome to the Unofficial Controller Podcast, your weekly gaming podcast, episode 203. The real 203. Don't accept counterfeit or fake goods around here. Obviously, Stingray got himself involved in the episode numbering, but there you go. Last week was 202. You didn't correct me on this, RGT, and we slipped into that. We confused many listeners. They didn't know what happened. They thought they'd missed a show. My mailbox was... The problem is that we share responsibility now. But this is my fault.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say it's your fault.
Okay. Well, anyway, this episode's entitled Changes at Activision with me, George, this week joined by RGT, Bobby Kotek, to my Bobby Davro. How's it going, RGT?
Very well. Thank you, George. How are you?
I'm wondering how many times Bobby Davro's been mentioned in the intro to the show, because sadly I don't know of any other Bobbies. Bobby Ball.
I wonder if you're on Davro commission, because you do mention him quite a lot.
Yeah, big fan of the Davro. Got to admit, he's a little bit like, well, in my mind, I get Bobby Davro and Les Dennis confused because they're very similar looking people.
I do that, yeah. Yeah, they are.
Yeah, one of them's like the little version of the other, but I don't know who's the genuine article.
The American listeners are thinking, who's Les Dennis and Bobby Davro?
They've turned off in their droves.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, this week, I took a trip to Amsterdam. And while I was there, I thought to myself, I should have said something last week, because we have an amazing amount of listeners in Holland, which we're very grateful for. Mm-hmm. Next time I go over there, I should think it'll be very long, because if any of our Dutch listeners can tune me into how I emigrate there, beautiful place, clean, friendly people, everything just perfect. Perfect. To paraphrase President Trump, just perfect. Just got to be the best, just amazing.
Not long to get there either.
No, the longest time was actually spent in the car on the way to the airport than it was in the air flying there.
How long was your flight?
Probably an hour max, hour and 20 minutes, something like that. You went up, then you came back down again. And before you knew it, you were being embraced by a warm Dutch supermodel at the airport.
Wow.
Everyone looks like a supermodel in Holland.
Wow. Maybe booking me some tickets.
Women. Saw a dog, small pug, looked like a supermodel. You know, everything just looks better there. Everything tastes better. Great place. So the UCP will be relocating to Holland as soon as we can make that happen. This show might be the way of making that happen.
Amazing.
Well, soon we can record from anywhere in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then you can then be the president of UCP UK, as you always wanted.
Well, technically, if you look at the paperwork, I am already, but we'll just gloss over that.
I know, but this could be your nice way of sort of grandfather writing me out of the script while also making me quite happy.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll do it that way if that's what you want. Whatever's easiest for you.
While I was walking the bazaars of Amsterdam and surrounding areas, I went up to this place called Zandam. That was relatively nice as well. The home of their largest supermarket chain as well, which you got to embrace the culture, RGT.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Got to embrace the culture. What were you doing while I was slogging my guts out in Holland? Greeting the fans, which I didn't tell were there, but, you know.
Yeah, just been sort of busy behind the scenes. As everyone heard last week, we've doing our early adopters pack for subscriptions. So
this is what happens when I have an idea. I throw it down on a storyboard, send it to you, and that's where the hard work begins. So tell.
So I get on with it, and you go off to Amsterdam for a few days. So that's sort of really what happens. But anyway,
I feel like I've let you down.
No,
but I'll tell you one thing.
Don't worry, I'm used to it.
I'm not going to lose any sleep. Oh, okay, fine. Does this bike have a backwards gear or no? You just stand up and turn it round and pedal in the other direction. I can do that.
But yeah, so we've been getting all that ready. So if you haven't listened to last week's show yet or you missed it, we've got a early adopters pack for our subscriptions, and that is for any one of these subscriptions up for a month. So that is up to February 21st. That finishes
February 21st. That's right. If you subscribe from anywhere outside the UK, just let us know. If you're subscribing specifically from our brothers in Holland, I'm going to throw in an extra little treat for you.
Oh, bless you.
Oh no, I'm good like
that. So don't forget, if you want to subscribe, do it before the 21st, because any subscription covers that. But after February 21st, that's only the $10 subscription gets the adopters pack. So that's worth doing it now.
Well, this is the early adopters pack, so the adopters pack won't look exactly like this.
No, it won't look exactly like it, but you still.
And some of the perks. Do we do the perks now, or do we ask each other what we're hoping to play and do it in the news?
Do it in the news, should we?
Yeah, let's drag this right out. It's bad for content now. RGT, I don't know what you've done to me. So what is that your week basically been slaving away in the UCP sweatshop, getting stuff printed, basically being slapped on your back with a wet birch twig?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. I'm not sure about the wet birch twig, but yeah, I've been slaving away. But yeah, it's been a very productive week behind the scenes.
Donna said she's got tennis elbow from all the stuff that she's been doing.
I can assure you she probably has.
There's probably some grease for that. Okay, let's quite quickly shapeshift into what you've been playing.
Finished Dredge this week.
Finished Dredge,
yeah.
Was it the most realistic trawler simulator that you think you're ever going to play in your life, or was it more of a means to execute the story?
It's one of them little indie gems. It's like your fishing is to help you earn money to upgrade, to go further in the story, to go further on the map, to go to other story parts, and it's all interlinked together. But it's, like I said last week, it's one of them games whereas it feels like there's a lot going on, but it's very easy to do it. It's so well balanced, that game. It's nothing that's too hard. It's nothing where you're just thinking, well, what's this? What's this do? What's that? It's all so well laid out. It's a great little game, I think. I mean, I put 20 hours in, but I think you could do it in 11, 12, but I was just exploring different parts of the map and islands and catching different fish. And I wanted to upgrade my ship fully before getting to the end sort of levels of the game. But yeah, I'd recommend anyone to play it. I think it's fantastic. Absolutely brilliant little game. And I can see why it got all the plaudits it did, really. Yeah, brilliant little title. So yeah, finished that this week. I'm thinking of doing, because there's multiple endings, I think, or at least 2 endings, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I might have another playthrough and try and take the story to the other ending and maybe have a go at platinum. Don't know yet. But yeah, I would play through it again, which takes a lot. It has to be a special game for me to play through it again. But yeah, I thought that was brilliant. And we're back on our live streams. So we were back on our live stream this week, me and Broad Border, which was San Andreas. So GTA 3's done, Vice City's done, and we're now on to San Andreas, which was brilliant starting that again. Absolutely fantastic.
Are you going to be able to stream the original Grand Theft Auto on PC or PlayStation 1 just to make sure that you've got the full suite in there? I would love to see that.
I have got an Elgato, which I've had it for ages. I need to get it set up properly. If I can get that set up properly, then yeah, there's no reason why I can't.
Then you can do GTA 1, GTA 2, GTA London. You could even treat me to a specific playthrough of GTA 4, Baldur's Gate Tony, and Lost in the Damned. I would imagine GTA 4 and the 2 DLCs will be after we do San Andreas. Because I can stream that through the Series X, playing the 360 version. You wanna go bowling?
So yeah, Nico. Yeah, so we'll be playing that. Also, I started a couple of days ago Link's Awakening on the Switch.
Oh, hello, mummy.
Yeah, I bought that a while ago, but suddenly saw it on the shelf and thought, do you know what, I'm going to have a go at that. Yeah, I'm quite enjoying that. I never played the original on the Game Boy. So it's a bit of a shot in the dark. And to start with, I don't know where I'm going, what I'm doing.
The egg was a little intimidating when I came to it. It feels a very different kind of Zelda, depending on which Zelda you were born and raised on.
Yeah.
I played this originally, I think, back on the original Game Boy back in the day.
Wow.
I bought a Game Boy and I wanted that game. I think I had a SNES at the time, so I felt all in, missing Nintendo. I don't know if that sounds like me at all. yeah, it does.
Was it good for gaming on the go, the Game Boy?
It really was, yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing at the time was I didn't have access to a lot of magazines, and I think somehow, if you didn't understand the logic of those games back in the day, you could get stuck for an awfully long time. And if memory serves, I think that's what happened to me. Yeah. It's not a difficult game, I don't think, but there was just something where I was like, I don't know how to move forward. And then, the immediate payoff of something like Mario or similar sort of distracted me from it. I also had a SNES, and to be fair, I didn't really go anywhere. So why did I need a game? I just wanted it.
I mean, back in the day, this would have seemed a massive RPG on a Game Boy. I mean, this, that's quite a feat to get that on there, really. But I love the graphic style. It's got that cutesy sort of style, but they sort of blurred the edges as you come in, that focuses in as you move around, which is quite nice. But as usual, with most sort of Nintendo first-party games, controls are brilliant, plays really well. Yes, I'm really enjoying that. I prefer it in handheld mode, because when I've got a 65-inch TV, so it looks very zoomed in on there because you are quite zoomed. So, I've played a lot of it on handheld. But yeah, brilliant, really enjoying that. So I'm
again, like a bit like Luigi's Mansion. To me, that game just screams it fits that device in handheld. It screams it. The scenes seem to fit the screen perfectly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it looks like it's designed for that, and then the add-on afterwards is you can put it on the big screen if you want, sort of thing.
Yeah, and again, is that the way the Switch should be played? I don't know.
Yeah, true. And then obviously we've all been button bashing this week on International Track and Field, as that's the final week of the challenge. Challenge accepted, which I think Zangief has absolutely smashed that. I think
seen the forearms on the guy.
Yeah. I mean, he must have gone for it.
He's got veins around his fingers that I have got. Anyway, he's got big forearms.
He's good at that game. He's absolutely smashed it. I think he just made sure last night of recording. I think he's like 99 meters or something. I think my best was 76. I was nowhere near. But I will say, great challenge game, because it's quick. You can jump in and out. And it's so addictive to keep trying to master that sprint. And when you throw the javelin, it was so addictive. I spent a good 2 hours one night just keep doing throw after throw, trying to get further. But that's what that challenge accepted all about.
Was that an early game in the PS1 lineup? I remember having that back in the day when it was fresh. And I remember it coming within the first maybe like year of the console's existence.
I think you might be right. I'm not sure totally, because I think it was originally arcade, wasn't it? And then
I remember pumping that. I remember that was in the magazines, and the graphics looked pretty good as well, especially for the time.
Yeah. Still, I mean, for a PS1 title, it still looks pretty good now. Very playable. Yeah. Great. I mean, I think I said this last week, but even Zangief show off, and he showed us how he can spear a UFO by getting the angle quite high. And
that is amazing, Fat Zangief, and I'm looking forward to welcoming him on the show, because he was the winner of our UCP Fantasy League that we ran last year.
He certainly was.
And we're just trying to get the I's dotted and the T's crossed and get everyone in the same room at the same time so he can record his prize, which, if it's a reward, I don't know, to come on the show. Well, let's imagine it is. Well done, well deserved. Then we're going to kick off the Fantasy League again.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Do you like video games, podcasts, and reminiscing? I'm actor, video game writer, and total sweetie pie Connor Savage McCabe, and on each episode of Call Me By Your Game, I sit down with a guest for an intimate look at a special game from their past. Did you and your dad beat Spyro the Dragon over the holidays? Or was Halo 4 the one thing that united your roommates during your senior year of college? Stories like these are what Call Me By Your Game is about. From video game content creator Janet Garcia to Hades voice actor Courtney Vinay's, I interview wonderful comedians and game industry friends about these memories. Check us out wherever you get your podcasts, and maybe someday you'll call me by your game.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that because I wasn't very good at the Fantasy League last year. I struggled to actually know what's going on, if I'm honest. But
I had no idea what was going on.
No, the guys in the Discord, they were smashing it, and they were chatting about it, and they were getting their dollars and buying other games to see, and they were all getting ready for release dates. Great fun to watch. So fair play, Seb. That was a great idea. Something I'd never heard of before, but must get into it more this year because I completely flopped last year.
Triple S. We need him. We haven't heard from him for a while, have we? Oh no, Bobby and him did a show.
Yeah,
early part of January. So
yeah.
Hopefully you've all got your Seb and Bobby fix.
Yeah, so we'll get us all lined up, and we'll get that show done with Zangief. That'll be a good one. And then I've been playing quite a bit of my hidden gem this week, but we'll get into that in a bit. And finally, George, I have been playing Holiday.
Don't I have a theme tune for this?
I have no idea.
Challenge RGT. He's played 1, 2, but never played 3. Challenge RGT. He's got expansive gaming knowledge, but something slipped through the net. RGT. He's AI and we've never met.
Wow. Did you take long coming up with that, or
just come up with it on the spot? I mean, to be fair, I don't want to pull the wool down off from anyone's eyes, but you are one of the most expensive AI co-hosts money can buy.
Oh, I certainly am, and worth it. So yeah, I've been playing. I've been playing Aquanauts Holiday. I've played the first hour as the challenge goes. I'm glad I got a complete edition of this game because you do need the manual, because it will not tell you nothing. But once you get into it, it is a very unique game that strangely is quite intriguing to play. It's like nothing I've never played before.
Yeah. Let me sum up my experience with it. I remember it back in the day, and I remember the Manta Ray demo that came on one of the PS1's early discs, with the everyone remembers the T-Rex. Oh, look at the Jurassic Park graphics that the PS1 could do. Okay, I was one of those people. But there was also on one of the alternate demo discs, the Manta Ray.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember seeing the corner magazine all this talk of Aquanauts Holiday. I thought, oh yeah, that looks really realistic, really great. I remember all the hype. Where it was like the fish swim in shoals and they do all the natural things in the habitat they would do, and it looked phenomenal in 1995. I'll give you that, or 96. It looked phenomenal. When I finally got my hands on it, time had not been kind to it. What is your takeaway? Because the controls are a bit duff. You're in a submarine, aren't you?
Yeah, it's very... I mean, it was at the time where, we sort of have standardized controls now. Our buttons do what buttons do. But in them days, they just done what they wanted with the buttons. So it took me a little while to work out what each one done, and then I had to get the manual out and read through to make sure what I was doing. But then once I got the gist
what are you meant to be doing in this game?
You're in like a marine base, and you're a marine biologist. And it's an endless game, basically, and you have to build like reefs and bring the life back. So the seabed and the sea's quite empty when you first start. You see quite a few fish swimming around, you see the odd whale, but you can then build reefs and bring life back into. So I suppose it's almost like a farming simulator, but under the sea. You build as you go.
What?
It's endless. Yeah. So it is very unique.
How do you unlock the funds to get the bits that you build the reef from? Because to be fair, mate, I don't remember really anything of what you're telling me. So this is interesting. When I challenge RGT to play a game that I can barely stomach myself, it's interesting to know.
Well, because I only played the first hour, so as far as I got, I was then starting building my own reef, which you have like a little map plan, and you drop the blocks down.
I remember this. Yeah.
But then what you do is when you go and explore out, which is quite big, that's a bit confusing because the draw distance is on the. I mean, the PS1 never the best draw distance anyway, but it's quite short draw distance. So rocks do appear quite suddenly in front of your face. But once you've found areas, you can release a buoy to mark it on your map where you think you should build the reef, and then you can go back to your underwater base, build a reef, then you can go out and explore again, watch a reef grow, build more reef. So it's very unique, very relaxing, and yeah, I'm glad I've played that. I think it's a game I hadn't really heard of. I'd probably never even looked at in a shop. It's been hard to get a PAL copy, and it's not cheap, but I'm very glad I've got it. So it was a great recommendation. So yeah, good one, George.
Okay.
Have you got another challenge lined up?
I have. It's ready to go. Now you've got two choices. God. You can either go PS3 or Dreamcast. Your call.
Okay. Do I have to say now or?
Yeah.
So they're different versions of the PS3 and Dreamcast, though?
It's two different games.
Okay.
If you want to change your scene. No. Just you do a lot of Sony. I would advise go Dreamcast. And
I'll go Dreamcast. I'm good.
Okay. Nice to see free agency of choice executed on the show.
Yeah. Thanks for forcing me into that free choice. As
soon as you're enjoying the underwater vibes, and this is a game that I think you will have played the originals of, and I would imagine you being the playground warrior that you are, you're probably a reasonably big fan of this. But on the Dreamcast, it got not only a visual upgrade, but a storytelling upgrade, and it became like a much bigger game. And that game is Echo the Dolphin on Dreamcast.
I do believe, let me just look to my right. No, I haven't got it.
Okay, well, write that down. It's graphically stunning still on the Dreamcast, in my humble opinion. And hopefully not too expensive to get. Right now, biggest DC fan in the Discord, Roast Space Monk, just jumped up, sat down, started tapping away feverishly on his keyboard, saying, no, this is a super expensive game. But I remember picking it up for like $1.99. So I imagine it's probably only 50 quid now.
Plus that. And you can't include the intro in your hours game time. The hours game time can only start when you start playing. Ooh, you're getting a tough taskmaster now.
Only because I remember the intro for this game being so long. And I think it's narrated by Tom Baker as well. And it just rattles on.
Oh, I'm looking forward to playing this.
Because the Echo unit, I presume you've played Echo on the Mega Drive.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Big fan.
Yeah, I was back in the day. When I go back now, I find it a bit difficult to actually remember what I've actually got to do in that game. I was a bit lost swimming around, but I still remember it. I still remember it being so different and really good. So, I was a fan of it back in the day.
Good. Okay. Well, I think you'll enjoy. You don't need to have played the originals to enjoy Echo the Dolphin on Dreamcast. And if you want something to almost powerhouse how powerful the Dreamcast can be at times, this game looks stunning. Or at least it did.
It will.
It has to. It has to. We're looking forward to hear what Doogie says about that. That'll be very interesting.
Yeah, brilliant.
Okay. Well, the only other thing left for me to say to you then is, oh no, do you want to know what I've been playing?
This was we'll have to. Yeah, go on, crack on.
Wow. How similar these Toms are, Mumsy, hey? Yeah.
Never seen us in the same room.
I've just been playing Last of Us Remastered, still enjoying it, taking my time, exploring every room, trying to find every collectible, piece of paper, card. I'll be doing Stay in the Abbey. I'll be getting the coins.
And that's isn't it? Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, nothing much more to say on that. Just been enjoying playing through it.
To be fair, that's not a chore to play that again, is it? Such a wonderful game.
I've enjoyed it. It's reminding me sometimes how kind of there's a section where you get the bow and arrow, you jump over a wall, and you're immediately into a situation where there's dogs and people sneaking around.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
and I remember when I first played it, it was like, I feel compelled to use the bow because you're just giving it to me.
Mm.
But every time I use the bow, I stand up, and you get that boo noise where you're like,
Yeah.
I can be seen, but I don't know if they've seen me because it's okay, but
Yeah.
is like they're on you. And this asymmetrical threat from the dogs, from the people, there's people up on like balconies as well. All of a sudden it becomes quite interesting because you're quite hemmed in because they're up close. You can't get the movement going to hide. So, yeah, I've basically replayed that section so many times.
I think I did it when I played it through on my PS4 Pro. I remember that bit. I got caught quite a few times. It took me a while to get through that bit, but it's almost like rinse and repeat. You get so far and think, right, I know what to do with that, and that. Now I'll try doing them, then them, and then you just work your way through. But it's tough because it's quite tight in there.
That section there until you meet your mate. No spoilers. You meet your mate from your home back in Jackson or whatever they call it, and then there's like a car chase scene. That from the minute you jump over that wall to the car chase is fantastic. It looks great, plays really well, tight. I remember when I played it the first time, I think there's a point in time where you just have to start running.
Yeah.
But it's not amazingly obvious, and I was still trying to fight them all and wondering why. Why am I dying? But there's a bit when I played it the second time, I noticed that it was all downhill, and you jumped out of a window, and then you jump down a section, then you're into one of the classic Naughty Dog sort of dead ends, I think, where you jump over an area, or you slide down a ramp that's unclimbable. One of those transitions, and I think you're into the car, you meet your matey, and then boom, you're away. And I thoroughly enjoyed that. That was also one of the first times when I played it where I heard them sort of screaming out for their pet dog or their friend or their partner. It was the first time I really noticed it, and it hit quite hard. Killing dogs in games, they're just a collection of pixels like the human beings, but there's something fundamentally wrong about it.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, definitely.
Weird, isn't it?
It is very weird. That's how well written and acted, I should say, that game is, because you feel like you're in that world. You're on the edge of your seat all the time, and certain story arcs in that can really hit home with that game.
I am ready if you're ready.
Go on then.
RGT, yeah. He's like the Lone Ranger, riding on down to bring hidden gems to me.
Wow. It's beautiful.
Dame Clarity in the village has been spending a little bit of time with me on the piano, the honky-tonk piano. It's honky-tonk? I think that's fine. I'm playing the honky-tonk piano. The more I say it, it's playing the piano in the village hall, me lent up the side of it, pint of dandelion and burdock. She says it helps my larynx.
Wow, it definitely has. I'd almost say you're probably the songbird of your generation.
It's compliments like this. Get me a flat in Holland, mate, and you'll go far, you will.
Yeah, I'm hoping to. Yeah, so.
What do you got for us, friend?
You want to do the little guessing game?
Yeah, give me the year.
2021. I will also give you the dev.
Give me the dev.
It's a bit of there's two sort of devs on this. You had Bitmap Bureau and you had Henk Nyborg, the famous pixel artist. And it's published by our good friends at Numskull Games.
Oh.
This is one I purchased quite recently, so some people...
Is it Retro Racers GP?
No.
GP Racers?
No.
Racing. Retro Nostalgia Racing?
No.
Is it a racing game?
No.
Do you know what I like about you, RGT?
What's that?
Nothing. Right,
Good.
what's this?
This is an arcade top-down hack and slash game.
Is that not what I said?
Funnily enough, no, you didn't say that. No.
When you say, by the way, let me retract that statement. What I love about you is everything, from your cuddly persona to your physically ripped, hulking, muscular body as you hold it next to me at night time. It's like
I do not look like that.
it's like sleeping on a flesh-covered rock.
Jeez.
That's got arms, a head, legs, and another appendage.
That's a t-shirt idea, Luigi.
You hewed in stone like one of those Greek statues, and he's just copy and pasted your head, turned it grey.
Yeah, holding a PlayStation.
Maybe you've got an
controller.
arm missing. I want to see you with no arms. No, one arm.
That's an odd thought.
Fig leaf, no fig leaf. Bada bing says, see if you can find a statue, Greek statue, Roman statue,
Oh God.
with its male genitalia exposed. Stick RGT's head on it. Because they've normally got, like, because large genitalia was seen in the Roman Greek era as being kind of like a little bit offensive, a little bit too bestial. So they all get sort of depicted with these cocktail sausages.
I'm not going any further than that. And you'll guarantee you, Bada Bingster will have that up on the Discord. By the
He's
end of the
Italian, and he's probably got a couple of those as his screensaver. You have to appreciate the history. I didn't know that about the male appendages.
Oh, dear me. Anyway, have you guessed yet? Arcade top-down hack and slash.
Retro top-down arcade hack and slash volume 2. Bigger,
No.
harder, darker, more cut.
I'll tell you, Battle Axe.
Oh, wow. Now, as soon as you said that, I had a vision of the box, or at least the title screen. That's where my knowledge of this ends. It's not the sort of game I would fraternise with, historically.
This, if you're a fan of pixel art, Mega Drive, Super Nintendo, this is just one of those games. This is
What
from
about
that
Amiga?
generation? Yeah, maybe Amiga.
You've got Gauntlet 2 on your Amiga. You've maxed it out. You're looking for something new.
Yeah, your Amiga might smoke a bit trying to run this, but
But the Mega Drive would be fine.
yeah, Mega Drive is a last processing, mate.
It's time we got Mike Rouse back to explain to you about blast processing.
Yeah. You know what? EA had those little yellow bits on the side, extra chips in them.
Yeah, there's a man of knowledge. There's a man with gaming knowledge.
But yeah, this originally was a Kickstarter by Henk Neuborg, who's a very famous pixel
What was
artist.
that name?
Henk Neuborg. Neuborg.
I'm glad you resaid that because I heard something completely different.
You hear a lot of completely different
I
things in
heard
your head.
pink one eyeball.
Wow. I definitely did not say pink one eyeball, but
I've been to Amsterdam. I'm allowed.
I know. I can tell, as can everyone else.
Oh wow.
Anyway,
I am a very good boy.
I can assure you, yeah.
It's a PG show. I'm a very good boy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the sort of person you want to have as a role model for your children.
Yeah.
293 episodes. I think I've proven.
I think you just might have added 90 episodes on then. I'm not.
I know. I wanted to build it up. We're chasing the big 300. The other way around, the 203, we've just had a birthday and we're waiting for our next one. It's a long time. It's a long time. You know, when you were a kid at school, you'd be like, I'm 8 months and 3/4. Like, how old are you? Like, oh, I'm just 7.5 months. Well, actually, he was talking at 7.5 months.
Exactly, yeah. Anyway, back to the game. After your Amsterdam warble.
Say sorry again now.
Sorry. Henk is famous for doing such game, you know, the pixel art on games as Lionheart on the Amiga, Flink, Mega Drive, and then later games he's done Shakedown Hawaii and Xenocrisis.
Oh, I love Shakedown Hawaii.
He done the artwork for that. And Xenocrisis, that was another big hit that's come out just in the last few years.
Mate, let's just take a moment to recognise I played Shakedown Hawaii cross-platform as well. I played it
you
on
played
Vita.
on the Vita, didn't you? Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and on the PS4 though.
Yeah.
So it was one of those moments where I hot swapped.
Wow, hot swap.
Yeah.
Is that actually a
Anyway,
technical term?
let's give Battle Axe Born its appropriate plaudits.
Yeah, so he started as a Kickstarter. Obviously, got the game done. You can play in solo or co-op. It's very recommended playing co-op. It's good. It's a fairly basic story. It doesn't really tell you a lot, but basically the story is there's a sorceress that lives near the village. Every 7 years, she demands an offering from one of the people to be a slave for her in her castle. It's basically what it is, standard. But
to be fair, is that a chore? Is she hot or maybe good personality?
Maybe. I mean, I haven't really got to know her personally yet, but I mean, she seems a bit evil if you ask me, but I might be up your street. So,
One man's witch is another man's 7-year itch. No, that's not really that great, is it?
No.
Every 7 years she gets bored of you, turfs you out and gets asked for another offering. Is that what you're telling me?
Pretty much, yeah. I think she just keeps
Elizabeth Taylor, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. Dressed as an evil pixel art. Yeah, so it's only a 4-level game, which seems quite short for a modern console, but it does, but it's grasping that hack and slash from the era. I mean, I know some people said this game is a bit expensive for how long it is, but I don't think so, because you got to remember back in the day, Golden Axe was a £40 game, and you do the rate of inflation on that, so it's not really an expensive game, I don't think, because the replayability. I mean, me and Bull Border still go back to Golden Axe today and still have a playthrough of that. So I think there is a lot of game and replay there. I'd say the gameplay it sounds really weird. It's like Golden Axe, but almost like Zombies Ate My Neighbours. It's that sort of that style of gameplay. You have 3 characters to choose from. I'd start off with, I found it quite difficult, so I'd start off with the easier playthroughs, but once you've done one playthrough, you get a new game plus, which means you can play back through the stages mirrored, and the bosses are slightly different with the patterns of what they do. There's
I'll be honest, I'm looking at this now, and I'm sorry I've wasted airtime looking about, because it looks absolutely gorgeous. Your description of Zombies Ate My Neighbours is absolutely bang on.
Yeah, it's stunning.
I don't want to poo-poo, but I can't see the Mega Drive running.
No, it's done in that style. It's more of a.
It is, and Zombies Ate My Neighbours, or Zombies, is a really good description.
If you like that game, this is ideal. It's just sort of in a fantasy setting, but it's also got music by legendary Manami Matsume, who done Mega Man, 1943, Final Fight, Dynasty Warriors, Mercs, Dragon Quest, Shovel Knight. So she has got a big list of music she's done. And this is where I would probably say it comes down to what this is on, because you can get it on PS4, PS5, Switch, which is around about £20. And they're physical copies. Xbox One and Steam is $24.99. But what I would recommend is, if you have a PS5, get the PS5 copy, because that's a special edition on the PS5, and you get her soundtrack in a CD in there as well. So you get a slipcase and you get the CD as well as the game for the same price. And the cover art on that is stunning anyway. But I just think this is nice that this is one of those, you get a lot of retro-inspired games now. The pixel art is a big thing, and NES-inspired games is a big thing. But I find that a lot of them sometimes struggle to actually get that right. They almost look like a high-res NES game, but don't tend to play like them. But I really think it's hard to remind yourself that you're not playing on an old system when you play this. The sound effects, the music, the graphics. It's short, but it's nice that it's short. And I really enjoy it. And it's quite easy to play. You've got 3 attacks. You have a standard, a dash attack, and a projectile. When you're 3 different, you'll have a guy who's more powerful with his attacks. You'll have a girl who'll be more stronger with her projectiles, and you'll have a wizard who'll be more stronger with his dash attacks. And then you can see which one suits you. The only downside is I wish they had done where you could play 3 players, because there's 3 characters.
Yeah.
Other than that's my only fault with the game. But I would, if you like, especially someone like Digital Monkery who collects Mega Drive, if you're into your Mega Drive, your pixel art, and you want something for your newer systems, this is a no-brainer. So yeah, Battle Axe.
Well, recently I perused the Discord. You know this.
Yeah.
And I normally wait in the Downton Abbey section for someone to come and talk to me about that, and finally that's happened, which is great. But I see he's recently picked up Slay the Princess off of one of Seb's recommendations. So now we get to test his mettle. Is he going to listen to your episode? Is he going to get your game?
Never know. Hope so. I think
he's kind of contractually obliged.
Is he?
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah. Sorry, Digital Monkery, you're going to have to remortgage the house, get Battle Axe.
It's not that expensive.
You don't know his financial situation. He's going to spend £250 on legal fees to get an extra £20 drawdown.
Wow. That is an expensive version of
This is Digital Monkery. Just do the maths for me. Explain this to me. I can't. Christ compels me.
But yeah, I think he'd love this. That's right up his street. So yeah,
okay.
Good game.
All right. What now? Do we slip into the news like two freshly greased weasels, or do we do the whole? Because I know everyone's probably sat on the edge of their seat saying, "Oh, hang on a minute, though. Wait, now, hang on a minute, now, there, now, just hang on, now, wait." You talked about this early adopters package. Do we do the news preamble, then do it? First bit of news?
Yeah, do that if you like. Whatever's easiest for you.
Okay, well, we've scoured the very darkest region of the internet to bring you the latest stories. First up, RGT. We've turned into one of those awful shows that sort of have asked for support. But we're not like any other show, are we?
We're definitely not.
As this first however long has proved.
Yes.
But one thing that we do appreciate is that the show's growing all the time, and listeners want to represent the show. They want to help the show go to another level because everyone's with us on the journey. They're either voicing that on the Discord or they're keeping very quiet to themselves and listening in the background. And we do the ad revenues as well, as and when we get ads that kind of fit our sphere of influence, which is very good. And we'll probably continue to do those as we try and move to a different model, because the ads, I'll be honest with you, listeners, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, and no doubt a podcast host might never make this little bit get out, but the ad revenue is very lucrative, if I'm honest with you. At 0.00001 cent per listen.
Well, we just saved up for a Twix, haven't we? So we've got a stick each.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've had to borrow money off Digital Monkery's house remortgage to pay for the other stick.
Yeah, it's not the most lucrative thing in the world.
And to be fair, it's always here. It'll always be free. You don't have to support. That's the number one thing I want to say. But if you do feel like helping us move the show to another level, to help us organise more outside events, to help organise more attendance of different shows, everything will get ploughed back into the show. Don't worry, you're not funding my relocation to Amsterdam in real life. That's just a little bit of the script and the lore and the comedy of the show. Hopefully you know that. Yeah. OG Tom is not linked to Epstein in any way. Seb's real name is Seb, not Triple S. RGT's real name is Dave. Retro Game Trader. I don't know why he calls himself Tom. I don't know. It's a joke that stuck. Right, RGT. Say that on there. Retro. Everyone's now Googling that. What's true, what's not?
Yeah. It's called Dave. Yeah, but I think, especially last year, we took another giant leap. Last year, we've done events, travelled around all over the country doing bits and pieces. But obviously, there is a lot of cost behind the scenes in this, and
just hosting the show, to be fair, it will be because I want the quality to be good. Admittedly, my editing skills and at the time recording studio setup was probably not the best. We've managed to negate all of that. Obviously, we had a setback when we got robbed.
Mm-hmm.
That was a true story. That wasn't in the mythos. But sometimes the way we play it, it feels like it's not real, but it is. So,
yeah,
you know, we're making incremental upgrades, and the show's always been much bigger than we make it out to be. I always portray it as like a Tesco value show, and that's maybe a bit disingenuous to it because all around the world, people are listening. America, all over Europe, places that sometimes stagger me because they don't speak English as their first language. You know, like I say, Holland blows me away. Germany blows me away. The fact that people listen in America, some of our jokes are very English, unfortunately, but obviously we've got American cousins that help sort of mix that up a little bit for us, so we're a little bit more listenable. Australia, everywhere. So it's time to ratchet up the show, to weaponize the show almost, so we can enable that to make it bigger than it is and hopefully more enjoyable for everyone. We'll still be your best kept secret on your podcast list. We'll still be that. We'll still be that hidden gem. We'll still be that cult classic. We're not looking at taking over the world, but we want to try and give back a little bit more. So we want to do the events. We want to do more competitions. We want to reward our dear listeners, and to do that, to move it to the next level, to allow more people to listen to it, which then hopefully will allow more cool things to happen. And as I say, we're not all going to run off into the distance on these monies, as generous as you are, but we'll plow it back into the show to help promote it and or give you guys a more one-on-one personal experience, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've got a lot going on behind the scenes, which people find out as the time comes. But these are all things that will take the show forward, and you know, people are signed up already, and that's brilliant. And thank you so much to who has, because that little bit goes a long way for us.
It really does. Anyone
really
listening now that's put the money down, and you know, I don't want to name anyone because we haven't got the authority to do so at the moment. But you know, going forward, we might include our early adopters or our top tier people. We might include them in the show outro or something like that, or within the fabric of the show, which I think would be quite nice. But let's George. I'm listening at 10x speed. That caused him to slow down, didn't it? Oh, hang on, what happened there? He spoke really fast at 10x speed. It's how people listen to the UCP. They ain't got time. It's 10x speed. If it's time to go back to normal speed, slow it down. Listen in, because here's what's going to be in the early adopters box. Are you ready for this, RGT? Just react.
Ready. I'm braced and ready.
In the same way you think the listeners are going to react when I tell them this stuff.
Right.
Okay?
Yes.
UCP lanyard.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You just rocked up at work. Bejazzled in the latest UCP neckwear, you know.
Yeah.
Matey from Accounts wears a tie. Boom. UCP lanyard. Boom. That's how it looks. I don't know why I'm saying boom. Yeah. It felt appropriate.
Who's got one of these in this office? No one. No one, just me. That's how early adopters, that's how that works. You're the only one in that office with that lanyard. Wow. Next item. Go, come on, I'm getting excited. Come on.
Okay. T-shirt with exclusive early adopter design on it.
Very exclusive.
Very exclusive. The only way you're going to get this, early adopter package.
Yep.
If you rock up to a UCP event, you're wearing the early adopter package T-shirt. You're going to look like you're going to be the king of the listeners there.
Exactly.
You will form a royal court of your own. You can dish out Marquis titles, whatever you want. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell you what else people are going to get hyped for. And this to me is almost like the jewel in the crown. Imagine getting an episode of the UCP on cassette.
No way.
Episode of your choice. So we'll reach out to you when we get a bit further down the line, find out which one you want to listen to. Obviously, because I ramble on, I'll take this on the head. Or do you take it on the chin? Do you take it in the face?
You're
fine. I'll take a shot on the face over this because I ramble on. UCP tape of choice. It might not be all of it, but I'll try and squeeze as much on as I can. Right. Postcard with a handwritten note. I mean, you could specify anybody, Bobby, Seb, me, or RGT. But I think to keep it simple at the moment, we're going to say either me or RGT will write your handwritten note.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get fridge magnet.
Mm-hmm.
Early adopter fridge magnet.
Yep.
Pretty cool.
Yep.
And depending on where you are in the world, you get a bag of Skips crisps. Let me write that down so I don't forget.
When you said "and," I was thinking, hang on, I thought I had everything here. What do you mean "and"? What's he going to say now? A bag of Skips crisps.
Skips crisps. Now, the big thing here is there will only be one time where this early adopter package is available.
Can I just ask?
Yes.
Do they still make Skips?
I hope so.
I've got a funny feeling they don't.
Then it's going to cost me even more than I thought to reactivate, commission, and bag the prawn-flavoured crisp. I think I've seen Skips.
Put them in community corrections if Skips are still available. I've got a funny feeling they've been discontinued. But anyway, if not, it might be a substitute crisp, very similar of the same flavour.
Listen, Tesco valued prawn-flavoured mash, basically, is what it's going to be. Dried in the sun and put in a small baggie.
So I've got to make them now, have I?
Yeah, something tells me we need a scraping of yeast from your inner thigh as well, just to get them to rise in the oven. So,
oh my gosh!
Because, well, not another yeast scraping, George. I'm about done.
Yeah, I'm raw.
Wow. Okay. Maybe to replace that sort of milky yeast, you could use some Vaseline on your inner thigh just to make sure you're lubed up and ready to hit the gym.
Anyway, should we get back to the early adopters bag?
Yeah, is that in there or no?
No.
Okay. Let's hope for their sake Skips are still in production.
For my sake as well, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But sending it UK wide, Royal Mail are never going to check, are they? Let's face it.
No. God, no.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Steady.
I'm not. So you'll get that all boxed up. Hopefully that makes you excited. Now, going forward, we're going to have to... This costs us way more to put together than your donation, but this is one of our ways that we want to give back. We know that you're big fans of the show. That's why you're early adopters. That's why you're getting on board early doors. This program's going to run until the 21st of February. Mm-hmm. At that point, the early adopter package will close. Only those that have lined up now get the early adopter package. And then after that, we'll announce what the top tier will get going forward. Some of that stuff, not on a monthly basis. I think we talked about a postcard on a monthly basis with a personalised sign off from me asking how you're doing. I think going forward, post the 21st, we'll lock some stuff away in the Discord. We might get a consensus on whether people think that's a good idea or not within it.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe make an area. Anyone can DM me at any time, at any point in time. I mean, I'm a bit slow, but I like to think I always get back to you, but maybe we could incorporate like some sort of checkup if we can't do the postcard from everybody due to being a worldwide show and having hosts on the other side of the world, we can maybe do like a personalized email message from your UCP host of choice. Anyway, that's diluting from the early adopters package. We hope that you're excited by that. You all want to get behind it. I mean, the chance to get a UCP episode, I was going to say on toast, but obviously of choice on cassette, because I don't think it would spread too well on toast, if I'm being honest. Although if you want the UCP on toast, you could just empty a can of alphabetic spaghetti all over a piece of toast and rearrange it as you still fit.
You could do, yeah.
Skips are alphabetic spaghetti then RGT. What we're going to send now? Skips are lighter.
Definitely.
The bank manager's already said, George, normally when you do a business, there's an element of, I think you know this word, it's called profits. Dirty word to me, don't bring it round here. You build it, they will come. Twice.
Yeah.
So that's that.
Yeah, and also we will just say, because it closes on the 21st, after the 21st, we will be contacting people for basically, your information. So it'll be sizes, what episode you want recorded, what postcard you would like and written by whom.
What flavour skips you want.
Yeah.
So if I get a multi-pack, there might be a beef-flavoured skip in there or something.
Is there such a thing? I've only done prawn cocktail.
Is there tamper-proof things on these bags?
I don't know.
Anyway, how do people get involved in this? Someone's listening right now. They're saying Herbert van Dijk is sat there in Holland. He's like, wow, I didn't know George had been. If only I'd known, I'd have met him somewhere. We could have had a great time. I want to subscribe. I want to show them that this is amazing. Bert von Berlin, he's listening in Germany. He's like, hang on a minute there. I want a slice of this. I want a piece of this.
Well, if you go on your podcast...
Carlos Fandango in Spain just sat bolt upright. He's like, early adapt. If my last name was Fandango, you'd have to call yourself Carlos, wouldn't you? Carlos Fandango comes wheeling in. He's like, bloody hell, I love this show. How can I show my love for them?
His brother Grim.
Where's he from?
Grim Fandango.
Oh, is the two of them? There is.
Anyway, before we insult any more people, so if you're on your podcast supplier of choice, if you scroll down where you see the information for us, there'll be support the show on there. You click support the show, and then your tiers are available there. So like we say, up till February the 21st, you can support us on any tier you like, and you will be entitled to the early adopters pack. But then from going forward, there'll be a separate one just for the top tiers, which we will announce after February the 21st.
This is exciting, isn't it? It feels like a proper show, this.
Yeah, that does. And also, like I was saying before, we will then contact you after the 21st to get the information we need for your adopters pack. So they will be being sent out probably around about the start of March for you to be getting them back middle March, I would imagine, depending on the area you live or country you live. So, yeah, check it out. Exciting times.
Very exciting. I suppose now it's only right and proper we talk about video game news. That's what they came for.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk version 2077. CD Projekt Red has confirmed that a new patch for Cyberpunk 2077 will probably be dropping next week. This one's been expected a little while now, with the game's big 2.1 update, which launched just before Christmas last year, introduced a number of relatively minor bugs. The hope is that the upcoming patch will solve these issues. They say we're aiming to have a new patch for Cyberpunk 2077 out sometime next week, posts the official Cyberpunk 2077 Twitter account. It will tackle the most common issue reported by players, including finisher animations. Stay tuned for more info after the weekend, it concludes. Cyberpunk 2077 updates have almost always arrived on Tuesdays, so we're going to assume this latest patch will be no different. We can only expect patch notes on Monday. Then, are you still playing Cyberpunk 2077? Have you been waiting for this update to fix any persistent problems? Let us know in the Discord, baby. RGT, have you played Cyberpunk 2077?
I played the 5-hour trial of it on the PS5.
Okay. That didn't knock your legs bandy?
Not really. It didn't really grip me. I thought it looked quite good and a bit interesting, but there was nothing. I don't know if 5 hours is enough to grab you in, to be honest.
Is that the on a slightly different note? I can't wait any longer, and I know that I've cut you off in the middle of your Cyberpunk story, but is that the money box or the lamp PlayStation symbol behind you?
Wow. Are you sure you're a good boy in Amsterdam?
Yes.
Are you looking over there?
Yeah, the symbol stacked up.
Not good for an audio show.
The blue one.
It's just a light. It's not a money box.
They did a money box like that, though, didn't they?
They did, yes. I think it was ceramic, though. I think.
Well, from here, obviously, with the low fidelity of the UCP cameras the way they are, it looks like a representation of CFAX to me, and I couldn't decide whether it was the ceramic. RGT. Yeah, it's the ceramic.
I look like I'm on a NES.
You look like the guy from Bamboozle. Suit, tie, badly pixelated nose, job done. Cyberpunk 2077 5-hour trial. That didn't whet your appetite enough to dive in?
Not really, but I think Cyberpunk has done a bit of a No Man's Sky, hasn't it? It's done a full circle. It started off as quite slated and trash, but now it seems to be really popular and something the game, everyone seems to have forgotten about the early trials and tribulations. And
let's send people back to when the episode launched. We did an episode, Cyberpunk 2077, one of our more I don't know whether there's a furor of the game not being that polished, maybe when it released or what, but one of our most supremely popular shows we've ever done. We did a real deep dive on the making of the game, which was actually quite fascinating. The level of effort that was put into it's unrivaled. And I had maybe one or two bugs when I played it, but for the most part, even at launch, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, the only thing I can't quite work out, because it's a bit misty in my mind, was this the last PS4 Pro game I played, or was it one of the first PS5 games I played? I can't quite remember.
You played that on the PS5.
Did I?
Yeah, I'm sure you played that on the PS5.
But using the PS4 Pro, PS5 patch abilities, where
because I think basic PS4 and Xbox One, it was just broken. It was nearly unplayable. Even though it was technically made for them systems, you needed the new gen to get the most out of the game just to get it to run, I think.
I can't remember if I played it on the Pro. Maybe I didn't.
No, I'm pretty sure. I'm 90% sure you played it on the PS5, if I remember right.
Okay. Well, the game's come a long way since. Seb was raving before Christmas about the new DLC.
Yeah, he was a big fan of that, and it really seems to have, in a way, some of these games, you say, like No Man's Sky, they have such a bad start, the devs almost stick by them more than what they normally would have done. And keep uploading free DLC and really expanding to give you something.
If No Man's Sky kind of hit the spot a little bit more as they wanted it to back in the day, do we think that would even be around now? Probably not.
No, probably not. So I think, in a way, it's come full circle, and as a Cyberpunk player, you benefited from that. But now it's getting all these updates, and I see a lot of good reports on it. I'm quite tempted to jump back into Cyberpunk. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it's good that they've stuck by it now, and I think CD Projekt Red are sort of earning their stripes again a bit now and getting the popularity back.
Just in time to disappoint everyone with their Witcher remake. Just in time enough to get that patched enough for the next game to come along. It's not the first time, and I don't think it'll be the last. And I don't know whether it's an endemic situation where they're understaffed or they bite off more than they can chew, or their ambition. Is it their ambition, or is it that technical hardware needs to catch up and they're hoping that short time that it will do, but it maybe doesn't enough in time, especially on console? I mean, you're kind of stuck, aren't you?
I think they were making Cyberpunk for a long time, and the actual systems that was technically, when it released, it was a PS4 and Xbox One game. You could only buy that version, but you needed the new gen hardware just to get it to run. So I think their ambition outweighed the hardware available, I think. So, but as time's gone on and more people are invested in the newest gen, that seems to have smoothed things out. And with patches and DLCs, it's turned around into a really good game. They're really popular.
Okay. Why don't you give us this personally selected next bit of news?
RGT's farm gets more acreage. The farm and lifestyle simulation Stardew Valley is getting a sizable update soon. And if you've been wondering about the status of its progress, Eric Concerned Ape Barone has now shared a new update. In a brief message on social media, the developer mentioned how he was finally done with adding major new content and was focused on bug fixing and polishing it until it is ready to go. He also can't wait for everyone to try it out when it does arrive. 1.6 ended up being a little larger in scope than originally planned. I'm done adding major new content to it now, and it's bug fixing, polishing phase until it's ready for release. Thanks for your patience. It'll be fun to see everyone play it. And if you're still worried about whether or not it will make a release this year, don't worry. It's absolutely arriving this year, according to Barone. He confirmed this in a follow-up response to a fan. As for how big it will be compared to the previous update, here's what he had to say. Hard to compare because 1.5 was all about a new big area, whereas 1.6 about adding more to old stuff in the game with a lot of little things. When this build of the game does finally arrive, it will come packed with a major new festival with 2 mini festivals, new late game content, new items, crafting recipes, winter outfits for villagers, a new farm type, new secrets, and much more.
Now, RGT.
Yes.
As a rabid Stardew Valley fan.
Stardew what?
Fally. It came out wrong. Apologies.
That's the Stingray's version.
Yeah, it is. Basically, it's a really poo board game.
Yeah.
Stardew Valley, though, one of your most played games across last gen and this gen.
Yeah.
Still putting the hard yards in on that game, as is Mrs. RGT, the beloved Donna, your wife and carer, also puts off. The only man who still picks games in a video game shop, then hands them to his wife like his mum to buy them for him.
And
Don's got the card. Don's got the loyalty card. Don's got the card. Stands there for an hour queuing while you peruse more stuff. I mean, she's a good woman.
Yeah, she is. She looks.
I'd marry her if I were you.
Yeah, might be worth it.
Mrs. Retro Game Trader.
Dave's missus.
Clues in the name, George. Slow down. Think about it. You'll work it out. So you're both rabid fans of this. This is the point I'm getting across. As always, I go the long way round to this. But you sit side by side playing your own individual farms at night.
Yeah, we've got a co-op farm as well.
Oh!
We started a co-op farm. Yeah.
Was this after my complaints that instead of ignoring each other, you should be working together in bed?
No, I think I mentioned it on the show quite a few weeks ago, but I don't think you probably listened very much. But yeah, we've got a co-op farm. Thank you. You're right, George.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes the things I say, I don't realise that they can be taken both ways.
Oh, I think you do.
Not always. That was one of those times where I was like, oh.
But to be fair, this game has been really backed by them. The updates over the years have been phenomenal, really expanded the game.
Well, we talk about expanding games with Cyberpunk. We get here and there's a game that's still expanding.
Yeah.
And Dicky talked about this when we did the interview where, he actually got told by Apple that it releases too many updates. He's trying to give to the game. He's trying to give to the fans.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you're spamming them. It's like, they don't sound like they're getting spammed. They're all enjoying it. And the same for this. I mean,
exactly.
He's made his money out of this. This update, FOC.
Yeah.
Still keeps coming.
And I think he sees a lot. There's a lot of people on YouTube who play this game religiously. There's a very big fan base to this. People, it's almost gone down that Minecraft world where people make their big creations, they make their big farms. They got millions and millions of pounds in it, and it's just really good. It's so well backed. It plays really well, and he's just kept expanding on what is an absolutely fantastic game. So looking forward to when his newer one come out. I think it's the Haunted Chocolatier. That'll be interesting to see how that.
I think that keeps getting pushed because this keeps demanding updates from fans, doesn't it? Really.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that'll be interesting. But yeah, I love this game. Every time an update come out, it just inspires me to jump back on it again. So,
is there anything within the game that you'd like to see that's not yet turned up? Combines.
Yeah, it's a hard one because the areas you'd be limited in your areas. It's funny. Some people make their farms really big, but because you've got the different farms, you can have riverside, you can have beach farms, you can have. So that'd be awkward. But I suppose if you're going to go down that route, you could incorporate more farm machinery in, which would be quite good. But to be fair, I think that game is so well balanced for what the reward is for what you get back out of it for your crops and your animals. That's very hard to what you would actually, which I think he's probably finding now, it's hard to add anything else to it. Such a complete game that you can spend thousands of hours in. Superb.
Okay. This last bit of news. Big bit of news, this. Interesting story. A new broom. Xbox this week revealed it was laying off 1,900 employees, and in the process, Blizzard president Mike Ybarra, who was also an ex-Microsoft president before this, also announced his departure. There's still obviously a lot to take in, but if you're wondering who will replace Ybarra, apparently that update will be happening as soon as next week. Yes, in case you did miss it, Microsoft will be naming a new Blizzard president next week, according to a report on Bloomberg. Blizzard says its president will be announced next week. There you go. Facts, as reported. It's not clear who exactly will replace him, but the latest reports also reveal the company's chief design officer, Alan Adam, has left. Good job he wasn't called Adam. Xbox's Matt Booty yesterday issued a statement thanking Mike for more than 2 decades at Microsoft and also guiding Blizzard as president. From here on out, Xbox will employ a more focused strategy across Microsoft gaming to help set up more substantial growth or sustainable growth and align talent and resources to the company's top priorities. So, first off, RGT, I'll kick off by saying 1,900 employees in the process of tying up Activision, Blizzard, and Xbox. It's painful. There's 1,900 people there now that are wondering how they're going to pay their mortgage next month.
Yeah.
Might not be as, painful as that because they're going to get some sort of severance pay, admittedly, but still wondering how they're going to make the mortgage pay. And that's a scary thought. Not everyone at Xbox or Blizzard is that far up the tree that they're going to be safe from this, and no one's that far up the tree that they're not worrying about what their next mortgage payment's going to be. So that's sad, and our thoughts with them there. But Mike Ybarra, I mean, we don't know the full ins and outs. Probably got a golden handshake deal, although coming at a very strange time when they announced Microsoft itself, not the Xbox division, which obviously is an entity within it, announces making several $1 trillion or $1 trillion or something crazy like that. It does seem a little bit sort of emotionally unintelligent to execute such a thing. But I suppose when you merge two companies of this size, there's going to be lots of people who are doing the same job. And if there isn't enough job for 2, 3, 4 people to do, I guess they've got to go. 1,900 seems excessive, if I'm honest with you, RGT. And probably another one of those moments where the gaming industry is screaming at itself to unionize. But what's your take on all this news? Is there anything good to come from that, do you think?
It's an odd one. I've watched a few news clips and videos on this. And I was going to say the same as what you said. I suppose when you're merging two areas which will have crossovers of people doing the same jobs, you're liable to get people get released. 1,900 I didn't see coming. That's a large amount.
Let's just say that not only Microsoft, I mean, they've got what I would call almost an excuse because they've acquired a new company and there is this crossover. But we know that there's layoffs across all studios, PlayStation Studios, layoffs at Destiny.
That's what I was going to say.
Obviously,
it's been quite worrying at the moment. I don't know.
Yeah, as a result of the Last of Us live service game getting cancelled, people being laid off there. So it's not specifically a Microsoft problem. This one is, obviously, with a figurehead like Mike going. It probably sort of breaks through the meniscus as news. That's not to diminish anybody else struggling to pay the mortgage, which is pretty awful. But one shade of good news I see in this, RGT, if I may inject a little bit of optimism here. Normally when we have shake-ups in an industry like this, these employees tend to start up their own gaming companies and we start to see new shoots, new ideas, new ways of playing, new things. So it's almost like a forest fire. These things are almost naturally inclined to happen. And that promotes new growth on the forest floor. Is this, admittedly, it's human emotions tied up in it, but do you think there's some good within this that could come from that?
I hope so. I mean, 1,900 employees, that's a lot of people, but there's going to be a lot of very talented people being released there. So if they could set up some studios, and I mean, they've had quite a few years of making what they've been told to make. This might be an opportunity to make what they want to make. So, there's definitely...
I mean, let's face it, Microsoft doesn't employ people like me.
No.
So all these people are extremely talented. They've already been vetted by one of the largest companies on planet Earth. One would imagine that every single one of these people is extremely talented and at the upper echelon of whatever it is they do.
Yeah, definitely. So there could be some good come of that. And like we say, there has been a lot of layoffs, which has been quite worrying. And at one point I was thinking, are we going to see another video game collapse? Is it going to go that far? Are we going to see another crash? Or is it because of, I kept wondering whether the new AI systems, are they taken over from what people can actually do? Well, that's an episode in itself.
OG Tom was sort of looking at penning an episode That's how emotional he was. He's come out of his retirement to talk about AI in video games, and I think that in some ways I see AI proving to be successful. Obviously, the voice actors might not agree, but AI, they can't record every single piece of dialogue for every single situation, so AI can fill in those gaps to make a more believable world. But that does leave someone on the cutting room floor, and also sort of AI generated mini games or side missions or stuff like that. I mean, it makes kind of sense, saves them from filling the game, but is it not filler in itself? AI is very strange, and again, another reason why the industry should look at some form of unionization to protect them as these things develop in their abilities. 3 years ago, AI could barely string a sentence together. Now it's indistinguishable from a real human. And
that's scary.
That's pretty terrifying.
So it's going to be interesting going forward with these companies, and so many of them are laid off, to see where we're going. But like I say, I think it was inevitable with Microsoft and the Activision deal. Once you start merging, you don't need as bigger teams. But like I said before,
it cost them an awful lot of money as well. So
So I was quite shocked at 1,900 employees, and I'm just hoping that obviously this push Activision Blizzard forward. We all know what happened with Rare and teams like that. They took over. They seem to sort of disappear for a while and don't really make a lot. So let's just hope, that keeps them striving forward now and keep making some great games.
Yeah. Long may it continue. That brings us to the end of the news. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe this show wherever you see it. Leave a review. Encourage all your family and friends to tune in. Don't forget to remind them it's free. Also, if you want to slip inside the eye of my mind and become a upper tier supporter of the show, we do appreciate it. This is your one chance only deal to get on board and get yourself the early adopter package. Show your love and significance by wearing the UCP branded lanyard and t-shirt. Why not, RGT?
Oh, well, that day.
Are we going to make it that exclusive that you and I won't end up with one?
We won't have them, no. They're only exclusive for the
t-shirts. The t-shirts, like, you won't see me or you wearing that t-shirt. Not even in a candid, relaxed snap with you by the pool.
Nope. That exclusive.
Okay. Has Mrs. RGT signed up as a Patreon supporter? I mean, whatever we call it, a show support. It's not on Patreon. Don't know why I said that.
Well, for the show, no. Yes, she has. She just doesn't know. So, no, she hasn't. No.
Get her signed up. We need the funds.
Yeah. So
that flat in Amsterdam don't pay for itself,
Yeah. So's mum and dad, but they don't know yet either. But yeah, so
okay, top tier. Wow. Okay, so Mrs. Purple rocking down the street in a UC. She can have her own one saying "Mother of a Purple,"
son of a purple,
and you can have the son of a purple.
Yeah,
if you sub.
But yeah, so they're going to be very exclusive t-shirts. So very.
Sort that you rock up in Great Yarmouth and say, I need a t-shirt with this on it in the next hour, and the guy's like, no problem. I don't know where it's from, but
it's going to be that exclusive that my mum, dad, and Mrs. RGT are wearing them, but I aren't.
Yeah. Daughter-in-law of a purple.
Oh, dear. Anywho.
Community corrections. We had one last week.
Yes.
I labelled the episode incorrectly, but then we corrected ourselves in the middle of the show.
I think I might have got it wrong as well. So I think we were both in a bit of a kerfuffle.
Okay. Right. Okay. I feel better about this now. I feel strong, like a bull.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Well, if we've missed anything this episode, or you've got an opinion on the news, a take on it that we missed, or no doubt probably the biggest slice of gaming news this week that wasn't even on the radar, but that's how we roll. We don't serve up everything like everybody else. Sometimes. If so, RGT, how would the collected masses get in contact and say that George, Herbert van Dijk was a little edgy. And I'll be honest with you, when you got down to Spain and said Carlos Fandango, that was edgy. But then when RGT came rocking in with Grim Fandango, that was a bit much. How would they get in contact with us and let us know that that's not acceptable and all that other good stuff?
You can email us at questions@unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com, or you can DM us on Instagram or Twitter /X, however you pronounce it nowadays. I don't know
what the cool kids are saying. Probably Twitter.
Yeah, probably. But I think it's also referred to as X now, as it's been rebranded. But yeah, you can contact us on there. Or we always say about the area you can go to that we don't talk about, which is Discord. That's where all the cool kids are. So, yeah.
That's where you get the first-hand news of the show. Mm-hmm. That's where you can ask RG2 to explain his inner leg measurement. It's where you can ask me if I've got more hats than ears. Which is
definitely. Yeah.
Which I have. Or whether I've got more hats than I've had at dinners. Messages on there.
Hats than Sports Direct.
That's a lot of hats.
Yeah. And you probably have.
Do bobble hats count or no?
Yeah, you got to rock a bobble in there.
So it's all headgear.
All headgear.
Right, okay. So I might be a while. See you in a decade. Yes, please join us on the Discord. That's completely free and always will be. Like I said in the beginning, there might be an area that's locked behind your support of us, but we will run maybe a little votesy on there to find out if that's what people want or not want, either which way you are.
And also,
masters.
I mean, where we have the challenge accepted on. So if you hear us talk about these challenges that Digital Monkey does each month, even if you just want to do those, just jump on for those because they're well worth it. They're great fun. If you're into your retro games and you like a little bit of a challenge and the competition and a bit of fun and a bit of banter, then yeah, jump on just for that because it's brilliant.
How can someone who's got more skill than me chop up my best ever rendition of the RGT? He's like a Lone Ranger. Turn it into an MP3 so people can download it as a ringtone because we've got a download section as well where you can get exclusive wallpapers for your phone.
Something we could look into,
amongst other things.
That'd give away a UCP fan as well if you're walking up the street and hear you belting out RGT, hear him coming out of someone's pocket. No, they're a listener.
Yeah. What a badge of honour that must be. Also, keeps the cats off the grass.
Yeah, exactly. It's got that sort of shriek level to it.
With all that said and done, the only thing I would probably like to say is to everyone that's supported us this far, this isn't a blow away of you at all. It's just we want to take the show a little bit further. We want to find another gaggle of like-minded listeners like yourselves. And one of the only ways we can do that is by doing what we're doing. As I say, this doesn't change the show. It's always going to be free.
Exactly.
It's always going to be there for you. It's always going to be there week in, week out to get you through your working week. And we hope in some way it does that. There's a smile as you're stood in the rain. There's a smile as you're waiting in traffic. Just manage to distract you enough from the self-imposed pain of a run. You've not quite hit that liberating experience yet. The dopamine hasn't kicked in and you're thinking about giving up and just buying a Mars bar. Except RGT said something profound, no doubt, and you push through and now the dopamines are flooding in. You're on mile 6. You're really pegging it. You're traveling without moving, almost. So, yeah, get your head down, push on to the next challenge. RGT, talking of challenges.
Yes.
Oh, wait, hang on. Thank you and please support us. I don't want to beg you. It's embarrassing. Who am I kidding? I beg you. Thank you. And thank you to everyone that's supported us so far. Your generosity is unbelievable.
Very kind. We understand times are hard at the moment. And
my biggest concern, RGT.
Yes.
Can I get enough flipping tapes?
This just crossed my mind as well, because I've got one sealed cassette tape. I mean, if you can get a few more, that might be helpful. It's either that or we're going to have to be like a Blockbuster and you're going to have to record them and then we'll share them out.
I have 2 brand new sealed cassette tapes.
I've got one, that's 3.
Okay, we're going to need an awful lot more than that, especially if Amsterdam powers up and gets on board. Germany, United States, the postage alone. We must be daft for this, but I think it's worth doing.
We need some new old stock of cassette tapes.
We really do. I thought I had more than 2, but obviously I've remembered that incorrectly. Mumsy, fetch the eBay machine. What do you mean blank tapes are worth £10 each?
Yeah, the last few might go out, might just have Guns N' Roses crossed out on the top and then UCP record.
Tipex.
Yeah.
Proper exclusive product, though, if you look at it that way.
With a bit of sellotape over the non-record tabs over the top.
Everyone's going to get tape on the tabs. There's a lot of Commodore VIC-20 games that are going to meet their maker to get this out the door. A lot. Send me a Spectrum games. Moving swiftly into the next area, a man that really commands a lot of money from us, it's Stingray. Have you seen him about this week or no?
No, I've seen him flittering about, but flittering about, yeah, but not too much.
Okay, well let's meet him. It's time for a peek in what we affectionately call Stingray's boot. What's nestled between some counterfeit nappies and a dodgy copper Battlefriend bill this week. These are the new release highlights for the week of January 28th to February 4th, 2024. Listeners out the you got above your station, boy. That's what happened here. You're asking people to support, you're doing early adopters, you've had a little bit of a foreign holiday, and now you think you're someone, but you can't even read your own script. You scum, you dirt. When's Triple S coming back? Because he would smash this. Listeners, these are out digital or physical, or will be by the time this podcast in your feed, but could be region dependent. Spring stop, wow. Ray jumps out of the car, looks at me as if to say, I'm fed up of working with amateurs. And let me tell you, RGT, I am seeing him bedraggled in UCP merch. He's wearing his own exclusive early adopters shirt. He's got a lanyard. He's listening to Alternative Control, an old episode on his tape player and his Nissan Bluebird. He's perusing a postcard I've yet to design or write, and he's holding onto a fridge magnet that's got the Series 8 album artwork on it.
Series 8?
Yeah.
Wow. So he's come from the future.
Yeah. And he's and I'm seeing Wayne hanging off the side of Sting's Nokia as an exclusive miniature version of himself phone dangler.
Wow. That's an image.
Also wearing his own exclusive t-shirt, a UCP lanyard, and he's holding a tiny little version of a phone with a phone dangler on it of Ray.
Wow. That's
and if I borrow your glasses for a second, snap them in half, put them on top of each other to double the magnification, and look at Wayne Sting's phone, he's got a mini phone dangler.
No.
On his little phone.
It's like an infinite loop.
With Wayne on it.
How weird is that?
And if I borrow Mrs. Purple's glasses, snap those in half and stack them on top of your glasses, I look.
You wouldn't need to. They're like the bottoms of milk bottles.
All I can see now, I've looked through all this magnification, is a load of atoms.
Wow. Yeah, they are strong.
But one of those atoms has got a tiny little UCP cassette, and he's listening to Retro Man, the Mike Rouse Christmas special.
Wow. This is quite an in-depth Stingray this week. I mean, this took us on a bit of a journey there, down to atoms. Wow.
Well, I wasn't going to go that far, but when you quietly and rightly pointed out that Mrs. Purple's, I mean, she looks hella sexy, I have to say, if you're listening, Mrs. RGT, seeing you looking well. Like what you doing with your hair? No, it's my pleasure. You look great.
This is turned really weird.
If you're ever short of something to do in Lincolnshire, you're welcome. Meal for two. You and Mr. RGT Senior. I'll pay for it. I'll just watch through the window.
We'll get on to my how I'm seeing Stingray, I think, because this has gone past limits. And anyone who is still listening, if you're still there, all three of you.
Yeah,
Stingray
your
to
mum,
me,
your dad, and Donna.
Stingray has appeared as my Stardew character in Stardew
Oh.
Valley, but he's got a little pixelated special edition UCP T-shirt on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and
Wow.
he's even got his little pixelated cassette player in his little farmhouse, ready to listen to his episode of choice.
What episode is he listening to?
He's listening to the one that we always go back to. It's the Backlog of Shame. That's his favourite.
Oh,
episode.
God.
That's his favourite episode.
That feels like years ago. If you're new to the show, get back catalogue because there's an awful lot there.
Yeah.
Maybe the news has aged. Maybe the new releases has aged. But we've always got our interpretation of Stingray, or what me and Tom used to do was these illegal activities in the village. Some of the people that we talk about, you'll find their backstory back there. And, you know, the one I mentioned, Alternative Control, really interesting episode looking at different interactions on the video games. Your one, Backlog of Shame, started out as a clean episode looking at the backlog of ourselves and the listeners, and then turned into an on-air hissy fit between me and OG Tom.
Yes, it did, yeah. Unforgettable, that. Brilliant. So, yeah, and Wayne, he's appearing as a Stardew chicken.
Wow, what's he wearing?
He's, well, feathers. But...
As I said that, I thought, if he says feathers now, kill him.
No, but he has got Crocs on.
Really?
Yeah, he's a Stardew Valley chicken.
What episode is he listening to?
He's listening to the Dan the Games Man Platinum Journey one.
He's a big fan of yours.
Obviously.
Exclusive episode. You and him. Dan the Games Man. I'm not jealous, okay? But I am.
Well, you know, I've got celebrity friends, so...
Don't we know it?
Yep. And you'll continue to be told.
Yep.
Yep.
You know I'm big friends with Ashens. Oh, I do now. Rugby, let me reach deep into the back of his boot and pull out this Rugby 24 coming out on... it's coming out on the PC. It's coming out on PS5. It's coming out on Xbox Series X. It's coming out on PS4, and it's coming out on the Xbone. January 30th, 2024. Rugby 24 is an official product of the Rugby World Cup 2023. Choose your country from more than 130 national teams and try and bring home the Webb Ellis Cup. Who is this guy? The game also includes the top championships, a complete career mode, and various multiplayer modes. Rugby 24 captures the very essence of rugby with deep gameplay that faithfully recreates the sport.
Never really been into the rugby games. I did play one years ago, but
not into it because you're not into rugby, or not into it because you find that games don't represent the game very well.
No, just I'm not. I don't mind rugby, but won't be my number one sport. So I've never had, been.
You're sort of guy that rocks up if England get to the finals wearing an England rugby shirt
full kit.
8 pints of lager.
I'll walk down the pub. I've even got rugby boots on, full socks, shorts, tight shorts, obviously, tight top, get myself
headband with some stick-on cauliflower ears.
Oh, and suddenly I'm a season ticket holder at Northampton Saints. I'm all over it.
Wow. Okay.
But then when England lose in the final 2 weeks later, put them in the charity shop, not even interested in rugby. Yeah, gone. No,
you put it in your good excuse for a drinking session box in the loft.
Yeah. Spot on.
The Formula One kit, whoever's winning, put that on.
Exactly.
Massive Verstappen fan.
Oh,
although seeing as that's now, if I relocate to Holland, to the Netherlands, does that mean that I have to switch all my allegiances, play different games, like different sports and sports people?
I don't think you have to, but you probably will.
Yeah.
I can see that happening.
Okay. All right. Well, we've prepared the ground.
Yeah.
What's next out the boot, friend? This one, by the way, I've just got a glimpse of.
I know.
I
think this might be my
Talk to me about it. Talk to me about it.
This is Eastwood Optopia. DLC, PC Switch, January 31st, 2024. Sam and John return in an all-new adventure. If you haven't played Eastward, play Eastward. Oh, brilliant game. In his heartwarming, story-driven farm and sim. Oh, my God. Players can grow crops, tend livestock, and turn an abandoned fairground into a thriving village with the help of the weird and wonderful cast of the beloved Eastward characters. Mummy, get the purse, because I am all over this. This is fantastic.
All over this. I haven't finished Eastwood yet, but I think it's so enchanting. It's charming. It's beautiful.
So well made. The music, the sound effects, it just, what a game that is.
I've got this little sort of terrace in the garden, for want of a better word, little sort of stony area. Well, that's the past tense, isn't it? Yeah. Stone, or you stoned it. It's stoned now. This sort of area where we put a little outdoor table on. It's got some outdoor string lights around it. And I have just the happiest memories of sitting there, sun beaming through the apple tree, me playing Eastwood, the game's vibe, the music, everything.
It's
just so beautiful. And every time I think of it, I'm back on that sun-drenched terrace, just feeling really good about myself.
That game, sometimes you can see a game which was a project of love, and that game is. You can tell a developer.
That was going to be the most profound thing RGT ever said. You cut out.
Yeah.
As you did the most profound thing you were ever going to say on this show ever, it cut out.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, your profound meter stopped. It kicked in. It was like, no, this is too much for people's ears.
Where did you get to?
Love.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that you can tell that this is the game they wanted to make, and they made it, and they put everything into this because it is just for what the game is. As far as I'm concerned, it is perfect. It is absolutely.
But even the standard edition on Switch that I got came with like stickers of the characters of John.
Yeah,
it was fantastic.
It's almost like they're so proud you've bought their game.
It's a little bit like the early adopters package.
We're proud of you listening.
George, that donkey, you whipped it so hard. It's walking on its knuckles, pal.
I expect there's people there now on their phones going through. Yes, George, I've done it. God, I've done it. All right.
I want to come back next episode crying. That's where I want to be at. It's either for fair or foul reason. Out next, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, PC, PS5, PS4, February 1st, 2024. A grand adventure in the skies awaits. Form a party of 4 from a diverse roster of Skyfarers and slash or shoot or hex your way to victory against treacherous foes in this action RPG. Take on quests solo or with the help of others in up to 4-play co-op play. That sounds pretty cool, to be fair. You're into your sort of Japanese RPGs now. You're going to pick that out? It's an action RPG as well, so no messing around.
Yeah, I might do. Not to say anything is sort of down the lines of Harvestella, and I sort of jumped into it a bit. I stopped playing. What was the other one? Star Ocean. I started playing for a bit, but I didn't quite hold my attention. But
which version did you play?
Star Ocean. It's the newest one. That what was it?
That's the remake of 1, isn't it?
No, you're thinking of that sort of pixel arty one. I was playing the Divine Force, which is sort of separate sort of one. That's quite good, but quite basic. I think it's just a standard sort of action RPG. So I didn't quite hold my attention, but yeah, I'd have a look at this.
Okay.
Oh my God, how do I pronounce this one? This next one is...
Take it one word at a time.
I think I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to take it one letter at a time, I think. This is Jujutsu Kaisen Cursed Clash. Out of 10, what do you rate me?
Well, RGT, I think you and I both know I'd give you 1.
Oh, I know you would, but what would you rate me?
I'll give you a solid 7.
Oh, thank you very much.
Jujutsu Kaisen, I would have said. But you say potato, I say potato, you say...
Jujutsu Kaisen Cursed Clash. There we go. Bang. 10 out of 10.
I might be incorrect. Community corrections, if you're a...
Jujutsu Kaisen Cursed Clash fan.
You can correct us.
Yes. PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, February 2nd, 2024.
Oh, I love this
Master-
readout because you're going to get hurt every other word.
You've even put bits in capitals as well just to hurt me. Master the jujutsu of your favourite sorcerers and cursed spirits. Bring a friend and dive into the world of Jujutsu Kaisen in this action-packed 2-on-2 fighting game. Bang, done. I'm not reading that again.
Okay. This might be my mummy. It's Persona 3 Reload on the PC, Xbox Series X, Xbox One. Persona, February 2nd, 2024. Dive into the dark hour and awaken the depths of your heart. Persona 3 Reload is a captivating reimagining of the genre-defining RPG reborn for the modern era with cutting-edge graphics and gameplay.
On the Persona front, George. That's what I've been getting into, sort of a little bit into.
4
RPGs.
on the Switch.
Do I need to play Persona? Will I like Persona? Come on, tell me.
I think that you might. I think that you and Mrs. RGT could maybe catch co-op it. In a hidden, in an Until Dawn style. You're playing it together, kind of exploring it, listening to the music.
Do you need my next question? Do you need to play them in order?
No, not at all. No.
Are they all separate stories?
They're kind of slightly linked, I guess. My jumping on point for you probably would be you got a PS5 early doors, so you probably got the adopter pack. There was a list of 12 games, I think, and one of those was Persona 5.
Was it really? I marked
it was.
Them. Oh,
so you should own that. So therefore, that would be a great place to start. Equally so, if you're feeling a bit sort of footloose and fancy free, I think you can pick up Persona 4 on Switch. You can also get Persona 5, but I think on the store last time I looked, Persona 4 was a pretty good price. It's the Golden Edition, which appeared on the Vita, which obviously people lord up. I don't know if you've got it on Vita or not, but one would imagine the Vita's gathering more dust than something that's not been used for a long time on someone note's shelf. Insert comedy moment here.
Yeah. No, that's tempting. The more I keep seeing, and everyone I see thinks about Persona says how awesome those games are. So
they're slow to get going. They are every time. Even like 10 hours in, you're still learning things. So you can feel like, oh, really? But then it lets go of you when you start to run with it a little bit more. Some of the concepts that they sort of entertain in there, sort of time management, task management, while still trying to build friendships up, while still also trying to be in the alternate world, whatever game you're playing, it differs slightly. But being in that dungeon part where you're playing your turn-based fighting elements, it's enjoyable. One thing that I always take away from it is the voice acting and the soundtrack. It is phenomenal. So for Persona 3 Reload to ingratiate itself to some people, because Persona for the longest time was kind of one of those sort of real extreme geeky things. And I approached it that way and then found actually it was very approachable. But it isn't unusual. Normally when you play a JRPG or similar, you're playing in like the far off future, you're battling mechs, or you're playing in a fantasy world where you're trying to dehorn a unicorn or something like that, or whatever it is. You do some insert medieval fantasy cliche here. They're not really based around kids at school and the relationships off the back of that. And for that reason, it kind of stands out as being a bit different. So I'd definitely recommend it. And as I say, you've already got or should have a copy of one of them in your library.
Yeah, I will have, because I've still got them in my library.
Persona 5 is the flashiest and slickest version you're ever going to get. And just the loading screens alone and the way it kind of flicks between gameplay, cutscene, menus, everything just feels so slick.
You tempted me.
Get on board.
Oh yeah, I felt I might have to jump onto that.
Scrap Echo the Dolphin, Persona 5, 15 hours bare minimum. Talk to me.
Oh, another challenge. Right, I'll have to get onto that.
One was free, or one is paid. Your choice. See you in a month.
Might do both. Right, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, February 2nd, 2024. From the creators of Batman, Arkham, Suicide Squad, Killer Justice League is a genre-defining third-person action shooter where the ultimate band of misfits must do the impossible and kill the Justice League. Now,
Finally, it's out.
yes.
But will it be any good?
No, I don't know. I don't think this was the game that people were expecting. I don't think. I know they've tried to change it up a bit from when they had their trailer reactions, but I don't know. I don't know what to say on it, to be honest.
I think because it's got a pretty large advertising campaign behind it, it's got a lot of money behind it. It's got some Sony money behind it in some of the ads that I've seen running. So that normally guarantees that the game's going to sell some numbers. I think that the negative press and the incubation period is not going to help. But I think from what I've heard, obviously they lifted an NDA on early people that were getting it early to talk about their experiences. And unanimously, they seem to really quite enjoy it. So maybe it's just a game that's not been portrayed very well in its gameplay videos. Maybe there's more going on there than we know about, but they don't want to reveal too much in case it gets spoiled for us.
May well be. I mean, maybe from their past record of games, people expected something different to the actual game that they've made and were a bit disappointed. But if you actually take it on face value, maybe that game as a separate entity isn't actually a good game.
Yeah, I mean, it screams live service. It's a bit Gotham Knights. Now that's matured in that time and it's found its own likers, still plenty of detractors. I feel Suicide Squad's going to hit the same. It's going to land a bit like Avengers, I think. It's going to do quite well initially. There's going to be lots of cool cutscenes in it. But I think maybe some of the traversals a little bit off-putting to some people, and it doesn't really make that much sense. Maybe it will when we play it. So, yeah, a bit of a dark horse there in Ray's boots. Not the first time I've seen a dark horse. I think the first time I saw a dark horse in his boot was a little black Shetland called Midnight. Pretty dark horse as far as I'm concerned. What? What? VHS. So your mummy is Eastwood.
It's got to be Eastwood for me.
Mine's Persona 3. Keep it wrapped, Elliot. Put it on the shelf. Fine.
My VHS.
Play it on PS2.
I'm going to pick the full box set of Jonathan Creek. How about that?
Oh, you did.
And I'm going to because they filmed a bit where I live, so I'm just going to spot the local people I know who actually starred in the episode.
Well,
this
is really funny. This is really funny because I'm going to rock your world because I'm picking the Jimmy Doherty docu series called Jimmy's Farm, based
near me as well, very near me.
Big friend of mine, big fan of the show.
Is he?
So, well, someone listens from down there, and I can't imagine anyone else other than him would be listening. So
it's got to be, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
So Jimmy's Farm, see him and his girlfriend set up a farm in deepest Suffolk. It's a pig farm, rare breeds. Yeah. Interesting show. Watch it develop. So, yeah, just need to get older series too. Ray, next week, if you could hook me up, bro, that'd be pretty good. With that said and done, RGT, may I borrow your glasses one last time?
You certainly can.
Okay. And rip off the tape that you stuck them together with, put them on top of those glasses. I look down on the floor, and all that's left is a very tiny, nano-sized UCP lanyard from one of Wayne's Sting's phone danglers.
The infinite Wayne Sting loop.
And with that all said and done, with them gone, the only thing left for me to ask you is, what are you hoping to play?
Well, I'm going to be trying the new challenge for this month, which I'm not going to say what the challenge is because I don't want to spoil it Digital Monkey, but it is actually on our Discord live now. So if you want to know and take part in the challenge, hop on the Discord.
No. If it's on there now, you can say it on air. What's the challenge?
Might not
people
want to say
hyped up. Huh?
I might not want to say on there.
Is it Alone in the Dark? Speedrun.
No,
Only available to play on 286 DOS computers.
No, it's more retro than that. It actually is the highest score. Yeah, it is. It's the highest score you can get with a single life on Pac-Man.
Holy moly!
Yeah.
Now that's a challenge.
What Nick? Yeah. So get that up on you. You can get that on Google and get it on anything. So get playing. I'm gonna play it on my bar top. It gives me a reason to use it. So yeah.
I love you, Dons. It's a great gift. Never used it.
I haven't been using it enough, but I will be now. So yeah, I'm going to be doing the challenge. I'm going to be playing more San Andreas with Bald Border Tuesday evening, 7:30 UK time. We'll be live streaming that.
You've been playing the like remastered edition, haven't you?
Yeah, definitive edition. Yeah.
Yeah. How's that? Because San Andreas is the one that's caused me the most trepidation because it's my most beloved. I know it's not yours, but it is mine.
I was an early adopter of these, and I paid full price for this edition and bought it on release. And it was, if you had rain in a game, you have to turn it off because you could not play. And there was certain glitches. There was glitches with signs. It was a bit buggy mess. It was taken from the mobile port. It was a bit messy. Now, for me, I'm not saying everyone will think this. For me, this is the perfect love letter to them GTA from that era. It's PS2 graphics, but it's high res, a little bit of ray tracing, and it looks. If you can imagine playing your GTAs now, this is how you'd remember them on the PS2. But when you technically go back, they don't look like that. But this is how it would look in your mind. So I love them. I think that's perfect because you still get the nostalgia, but you get the modern controls with it. So now you get your weapons wheel. You get the second. I know San Andreas did have the second camera. The other two didn't. Your camera movement with your right analog, but they've added that into Vice City and GTA 3 now. So your controls are easier and everything's that much easier to do now. You know, when there's some notorious levels, they're not so notorious anymore. So it's for me, it's a perfect way to play.
Are we talking?
So I'm really enjoying it.
Train.
I never had trouble with the train. I had trouble with the RC plane mission. We had to get the vans. Any
RC missions in any GTA game send me absolutely up the wall.
I did play San Andreas when this first came out on this definitive edition, and I did play the RC missions, and I done it on my third attempt. Whereas when I played it originally, I had to get Bald Border to do it for me because after about a week, I still could not get these vans. So it is, I think with the modern controls, it's made it a lot more ease of life to play, a lot more user friendly. So I think this is a perfect way to play because we're streaming it. People love looking at the old style graphics. They love it. It looks really good. And out of all the games we've streamed, the GTA ones seem to get the biggest views. So that seems very popular. So, it's going to be playing more of that. I can't wait to play that again. More Link's Awakening I will be playing. I'll be on the hunt for Echo the Dolphin on the Dreamcast, try and play that. And I might actually download Persona 5 on my PS5. So I need a new game on there to play after Dredge is done. So I might jump into that. So what about you, George? What are you going to play?
More Last of Us 2 remastered, yeah. That's just proves to be entertaining still. Just really enjoy that whole package, if I'm honest.
Just a game that holds your attention, and you always want to
get back to it. Do you know what I might commit to?
What's that?
I've got Persona 5 on Switch.
Have you?
And if you text me you're starting, I'll text you I'm starting, and we'll start it together. And every time you say I'm playing it, I'll play it.
Right.
And we kind of like whip each other's freshly sort of exposed white buttocks through it together.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it that we help each other through. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Whipping each other.
Get Mrs. Purple in with a freshly hewn birch.
That's really strange.
Switch cut from the tree.
Yeah.
And every time she hears you slacking on there a little bit, it's like...
That's gone weird.
Who would be a better giver of the birch switch?
This isn't comfortable.
Post switching or pre switching?
Just the whole conversation in general, really.
I don't think I've ever been in a conversation that I found too difficult or awkward.
I can tell.
Nothing's off the radar for me.
Nope, it definitely isn't.
Why should it be?
I can tell from some of our phone calls.
Well, you must never talk of the phone calls.
No.
Equally so, I might slip back into a little bit of Eastwood, but I'm definitely keen on playing through Persona with you, just to kind of share our experiences together.
Quick question: Is that deal? Is that do you have to buy that DLC, or is that a free DLC?
No, as far as everything I could find when I was getting the facts for the show, it's paid. Is it though? Is it on Steam?
It's got me intrigued now because I sort of read it and then wasn't sure whether that was going to be free or whether that's.
2 seconds. Let's get the facts.
Oh, here we go. $4.99 UK, $5.99.
Even on Steam.
Uh,
Just checking the price on Steam. Well, making it very easy for me, but Pixpill, Eastwood, Octopia, 31st of Jan, DLC, base game or Steam in order to play. Interested, add to your wish list. So we'll confirm back to you at some point in time once it gets listed on Steam. Whether it's a paid upgrade or not, but you're saying on Switch it's $4.99, which I feel is a pretty reasonable price.
Yeah,
you get a little mini farming sim as an add-on. To Eastwood, which is the most beautiful thing as well. I think that's nice.
Yeah, it's a brilliant game. Brilliant game.
But yeah, so some Persona. What else have I got teed up? And I'm playing also, which is ultimately turn-based, and I'm getting into it mainly the story more than anything. Roast Space Monk, I know, is catching up on some episodes because he's obviously the big Yakuza guy around town. But I'm waiting on him coming back to me to talk to me about how he finds the turn-based. Because I've recently found out there's a little Prezi-Wezzy for Valentine's. I'm getting Infinite Wealth on PS5, which I'm very intrigued about.
I've read some high, that game.
I know, and I've seen some really cool like Easter eggs in it about Shenmue amongst other things. So again, Doogie, if you're listening, you get all over that, my friend. So that's interesting. And all the sub games, they've always had sub games in obviously the Yakuza series, but this, Like a Dragon, this is something else. And obviously Kiryu's making a return. It's very interesting to see what will come of that. I also need to pick up the man who erased his name as well, which I need to get on with. I think that's a slightly smaller title and it's priced appropriately for its length. But yeah, that'll be me back up to speed. I'm just a bit behind on the actual games because sometimes, I hate to say this, but I do need to take a palate cleanser between Yakuza titles. So I've done a couple back to back. It was like, that was a chore. But other than that, no, I'm keeping the ground swept clear. I think there's been a lot of home console activity going on and not a lot of switching. I went on the plane and I think I started about the first, because the plane was only short, I only did like 5 minutes of LA Noire. Played some MLB in the hotel on it and played a little bit of Ghostbusters on it as well in the hotel, just for a little bit of something to look at.
What I did forget, I want to get back onto Halo 2. Played a bit more yesterday. So on the Master
How
Chief
far
Collection.
through that are you now?
I think I'm about 4 missions from the end, I think.
Mate, you need to get that. You need to bum rush that because 3, when you first play 3, back in the day, it was a little bit more like, wow, because of the transition from 2 on base hardware or 360 backwards compatible to 3 was huge. And I remember 3 being just the slickest, most beautiful looking game I'd really played at the time.
I mean, I'm playing the Master Chief Collection on the Series X, and it plays and looks really good, and it's so smooth. As people know from older shows, I've always struggled with FPS games. All modern ones, I normally get motion sickness. Even watching clips of Boba playing, Call of Duty, it would make me feel a bit funny because it's so quick movement.
Mm-hmm.
I've started with these older FPS games, which is getting me through, and I've been fine. But this is so smooth on a modern console. It's no screen tear and no blur, nothing. It looks so good. So yeah, they've done a great job of that Master Chief Collection, and how cheap you can pick that up for as well. I mean, if you've got a Series X and haven't played Halo, grab that, because you could. I mean, I think I saw it in CX for £8. How many games on it? 4 or 5 games, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of game that looks good for the system for that money.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I've just had. This is how my brain works. You were talking to me about Master Chief Collection, the games that are on the disc, and I was thinking, is the early adopters pack going to be sealed?
We could do if we could manage it. Why is that? Are you trying to?
Elliot.
Yeah.
Elliot needs this. Then he could keep it sealed. He could get it graded.
Well, what we'll do, if Elliot joins, I'll do him as just a
Elliot's joining,
sealed.
whether he knows it yet or not. Even if I have to break into his house, crawl around on his floor, pretending to be some discarded clothes for a week, get hold of his wallet. Now all I need to do is get hold of his phone. Go to the podcast link at the bottom, click the button, click how much you want to give. I'm giving all of his money because I feel he's quite generous.
Yeah.
And then he's going to get this.
Yeah.
But what
we'll do it for Elliot.
But how will he know if it's sealed, if there's anything in the box, or whether I've just sold him a couple of stones?
Well, you don't know of any sealed game, do you?
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the value of a sealed UCP early adopters pack going to be? Because it's only the fans.
Priceless.
The fans are going to determine the value of this by how even more popular the show becomes over time, which is going to increase the value of the early adopter pack.
Mm.
So Elliot's onto a winner with his sealed early adopter pack.
Yeah, could be the only one in existence. Priceless.
Oh, don't. Because
50
I'm actually
years' time,
jealous.
an Antiques Roadshow. Someone slaps that on the table. It's the only sealed one in existence.
12p.
Inflation took a dive. 12p.
What can you buy with that? A Wham, half a chewed Wham bar. Is that it? Is there any more news? Is there any more announcements? Obviously, everyone get involved in the challenge accepted Pac-Man competition. I like that one because, as you say,
you can have a go on your phone
Pac-Man
at work.
on a fridge.
Yeah, you can have a go anywhere. There's
I think I've got a Pac-Man board game. Does that count?
Oh, I had that back in the day. I'd love to get that again.
Does it count or no?
Probably not.
Okay.
It's not really sort of. Yeah.
Pac-Man on the 2600. Does that count?
Yeah.
What?
Do you know what? I might actually do that. I'm going to get a score on Pac-Man on the 2600.
Fair play to you, pal.
Yeah.
I mean, wow.
Yeah. Even
that's dedication.
Terrible port. Yeah. I'll get a score on there.
Where's everyone else? What's everyone else playing it on? What's been the suggested format?
It's only been announced today, so I expect we've got people in the Discord of emulators, people with original hardware, people with, the multi packs where you'd get what are they called? The old packs you get a lot on the PS2.
Like with all the different cereals in them,
yeah.
You mean? So like Frosties, Cocoa Pops, Bunny Nut Loops.
No, you'd get like the discs on PS2 that would have all the old games on, like retrospective collections. You can play them on them, PS1, play on anything. People have got.
I've had this real
machines.
strange urge.
You have a lot of strange urges.
I know. And
I'm not sure you want to mention strange urges on here because it is PG, but carry on.
This one might take us to the edge. Now, I don't know why, but as you were talking again about retro collections, it sparked my mind off because I've had this really strange urge recently, and I don't know whether to see any. Well, if I confess it to you, does it diminish it down to not being an issue, or is it still an issue if you think it's an issue?
It depends where you're going and what rabbit hole you're
So
going.
back in about 96, I was a young lad, really, you know, in the scheme of things, a little bit wet behind the ears. And one of my first experiences was watching my cousin play Wing Commander. And I've been thinking about collecting up versions of Wing Commander. I'm not going to get it for PC. I've got it on PSP as part of that retro bundle. This is where I went with this, you know, retro bundle. But I see like 3 and 4 got a PS1 release. And I think I've got one of them.
I've got 4.
Wing Commander 4.
I was actually looking at it before we recorded this, which is very odd. It's like you read my mind. It was strange. Yeah, I pulled it out and thought I might play that again because obviously you got Mark Hamill and Thomas, whatever his name is, from Back to the Future.
Is it any good?
Huh?
Is it any good? So I think I had it back in the day and traded it because I struggled with it. I like the movie little bits, you know, where Hamill comes in, he's like, talks that little version of Chewbacca.
I think, is Malcolm Thingybob in it as well?
Malcolm McDowell. Now, there's 3 or 4 and 5 or 3 and 4 that made it to the PS1. Malcolm McDowell's in one of them, and he's not in the other one, I don't think. I think Malcolm McDowell's in the later one, 4.
It's in 4, I think. Then you got, like, say, you got, forgive me, I forget his name, the guy who's Biff from Back to the Future, he's in it.
We'll call him that.
Yeah, Biff. Mark Hamill. Yeah, they're, you know, I mean, you can see they spent a lot of money in the day on the scenes, but obviously you go from a cut scene where you're like, right, come on, let's go out and get these, blah, 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 your pilot, you jump in, and then you get a PS1 graphics. It does ruin the immersion a little bit. But it's quite, I mean, if you want to play something like that on a PS1, as I always say, play Colony Wars. They're fantastic games on the PS1. Absolutely.
Have I got Colony Wars or no?
No, there's 3. There's Colony Wars Red Sun, and Colony Wars Vengeance. Don't know if I got them in the right order. The latest one was the best one, but they're great.
I think I've definitely got G Police, which for some reason always reminds me of Colony Wars.
Yeah, G Police is more of the similar premise, but obviously more in a city, in it. Whereas this is
I know they're not the same, but they feel similar.
Yeah, this is very playable today, Colony Wars. It's not easy, but it's very good.
But most to the point, when was the last time you played your PS1 version of Wing Commander?
5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Do you know what I might do? Slap it in the PS3 and put it on like it's sort of a track reel mode. Do you like doing that? You've got this shed full of games. Do you kind of like stick them all on the... Do you get them running in there a track mode on the different TVs that you've got, or is that a bit of a weird suggestion to you?
No, I have done that. I've played them on different TVs, see how they, you know, what they look like. You know, sometimes you can play the PS1s through the PS2, which has got the HDMI on, and see how different.
Update on the PS3 as well. I need to get that to Cousin Ian because it's still languishing with its yellow light of death.
Poor thing. Still ain't bothered fixing that.
Well, my fear is it's not savable.
Might be. I don't know.
That's my biggest. It was already heavily modded on the way into this.
Yeah.
Now it's YOLODed. Is that a byproduct of the delidding? Is that a byproduct of the power supply unit failing, or is it a byproduct of the RAM chips going belly up? You know, I'm nervous.
Yeah, just get it in there and get it looked at. That's all you can do.
Yeah, okay. I think all side rambles aside.
Yes.
And sorry for Wing Commander, but you just popped this thought in my head of the PSP version, you know, that came with like Desert Strike or Jungle Strike, and
EA
there was
Replay,
that and Syndicate, EA Replay, yeah.
That's it. Yeah. That's probably a good way of playing it, I would have thought.
It's got me yearning for a little bit of PSP.
Yeah. That's me a bit now.
I love a bit of PSP. Do I love PSP more than Vita? Maybe.
PSP is my favourite handheld.
It's controversial, I know, because the Vita's like everyone's favourite hidden lover, but PSP, want to watch a movie, knock yourself out. You want to play a game that looks...
It's multimedia. It was just, I remember getting my PSP brand new, and it was just, it was from games. I think it was Electronic Boutique, actually.
Oh,
And it just felt a piece of modern quality in your pocket. It looked the business. It looked like a modern bit of tech.
Yeah.
It was, I love it. Brilliant.
Okay.
Right.
Have we took enough of the listeners' time?
I think so.
Okay. Should we call it?
Call it.
Time of death. 13:52. That's all we have time for this week, listeners. As always, thank you for your time. We look forward to the pleasure of speaking to you again next week. Until then, happy gaming. Remember, there's nothing wrong with being given the unofficial controller. It's what you do with it that counts. See you, RGT.
Later.
Oh, have you subbed or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Have you not then?
Yeah, I've subbed. Yeah.
Yeah, you have like 4 times. You just don't know yet.
I just. And I'm not allowed any of the early adopter. It seems like the biggest, most unfair thing ever. But yeah. Okay. Well, on that bombshell, I'll see you next week. Take care, RGT.
Yeah, you too, George. See you later.